They say love makes the world go round, but what if it spins you right off your axis? Picture this. You wake in the quiet pre-dawn, heart already racing with the memory of their voice. Your first thought isn't coffee or your to-do list, it's the way they smiled yesterday, or the tiny quirk that made them uniquely magnetic. At first, this feels like a secret superpower. Your ordinary life now pulses with color and possibility. Yet beneath that exhilaration lies a subtle current, a whisper that you're incomplete without their presence, that your happiness hinges on every word they speak. This is the threshold moment, where healthy attraction flirts with something far more consuming. You don't just want them, you need them. And that shift is like stepping through an invisible doorway. Suddenly, every notification ping becomes a lifeline, and every pause in conversation stretches into an abyss of doubt. What began as a delightful spark is mutating into a wildfire, threatening to scorch everything it touches, including the person you once were. In this opening chapter, we'll peer into those first tremors of dependency, how innocent infatuation blurs into a fixation so strong it reshapes your thoughts, your priorities, and even your sense of self. We'll explore why that first flutter in your chest is both intoxicating and dangerous, and learn to recognize the moment when love's gentle current turns into a force that threatens to pull you under. Ready to see how the sweetest spark can ignite a dangerous blaze? Let's step across the threshold and learn to spot it before it's too late. The moment you lock eyes with them, the world seems to dissolve into a prism of possibilities. Every color is brighter, every sound more melodic. Your senses amplify, as if tuned to a frequency only they can broadcast. Text messages feel like secret love letters from fate itself, and you reread each word until the margins wear thin. In this glittering mirage of infatuation, it seems impossible that anything could ever tarnish the glow. Yet this shimmering phase conceals a subtle distortion, the tendency to mistake fantasy for reality. You begin to gloss over their flaws, editing out moments of awkwardness or hesitation until only perfection remains. A casual compliment becomes a sign of undying devotion. A stray emoji morphs into an unspoken vow. You catch yourself replaying mundane encounters in slow motion, wondering if that stray glance meant something more, or if a shared laugh was a secret message meant just for you. As you drift deeper into this mirage, your own reflection fades at the edges. Hobbies, friendships, and even personal goals start to recede into the background, overshadowed by daydreams of them. Your calendar fills with imagined dates and hypothetical conversations, leaving little room for the life you once led. It's as if you've stepped into a beautifully crafted theater where every spotlight shines on them, and your true self becomes mere scenery. Recognizing the illusion of infatuation is the first step toward grounding yourself again. By reminding your mind that no person can fulfill every longing, you can begin to balance that electric thrill with healthy perspective. In the next chapter, we'll track how this dazzling spark can flare into an all-consuming flame, and why the difference between adoration and obsession hinges on the choice to stay rooted in reality. As the glitter settles, that initial sparkle transforms into a hunger that craves constant feeding. You're no longer content with stolen glances or half-hearted hellos. You need more. Messages must come faster. Plans must be more certain. Every moment you're apart breeds a low-grade panic, as though their absence is an illness only their attention can cure. In healthy love, deepening intimacy unfolds naturally. Shared stories, mutual vulnerability, reciprocal effort. But in obsession, this intensification warps into an unbalanced pursuit. You scour their social feed for clues of interest, inflating the smallest interactions into proof of "we're meant to be." Simultaneously, you dismiss any sign of hesitation as external noise, busy schedules, misunderstood comments, or mere coincidence. This selective perception fuels a feedback loop. The more you fixate, the more you convince yourself that fixation is justified. Meanwhile, your world shrinks. Hobbies gather dust, friendships feel like distractions, and self-care falls by the wayside. Your calendar bears the imprint of their availability, not your own goals. The pedestal you built in Chapter 2 becomes a prison. You worship their every trait, real or imagined, while suffocating under impossible expectations. Red flags in this phase: overinterpretation. assigning secret meanings to casual gestures. Routine hijacking, rewriting your day around their potential movements. Emotional neglect, ignoring your own needs to focus exclusively on theirs. If left unchecked, this phase propels you headlong into the claustrophobic grip of obsession. In the next chapter, we'll descend further, uncovering how admiration can poison into paranoia and how the line between devotion and domination disappears altogether. Stay with me. By now, the spark that once felt magical has transformed into a blaze that no one can control, and the relationship itself becomes a war zone. What began as teasing jealousy now erupts into open accusations. Missed texts morph into proof of betrayal. Friendly interactions with others trigger fierce confrontations, and every boundary your partner sets is taken as a sign of rejection. This scorched landscape, manipulation tactics replace heartfelt communication. You may resort to guilt trips, reminding them of all you've sacrificed, or employ silent treatments to punish perceived slights. Invisible lines are crossed. Surprise visits, relentless calls, even covert surveillance of their online activity. Each act of control feels justified by a single mantra. I'm only doing this because I care. Yet the care you profess becomes a straitjacket, leaving both of you gasping for air. Trust, the very foundation of love, crumbles under the weight of suspicion. Conversations spiral into shouting matches, and reconciliations are short-lived as the cycle repeats. Even if you've never raised your hand, the emotional abuse inflicts deep wounds. Constant criticism, threats of abandonment, or veiled ultimatums that leave your partner feeling unsafe. In some extreme cases, stalking behaviors creep in, tracking their location or hacking into private messages, all in the name of protection. But destruction also contains a hidden invitation, the chance to recognize that this conflict is neither love nor loyalty. It's a fear-driven attempt to fill an emptiness inside you. Acknowledging that the war you're waging against your partner is actually a battle within your own insecurities is the first step toward laying down arms. In the silence that follows the last explosion of conflict, you're left standing amidst the rubble of what once felt all-consuming. The frantic drumbeat of jealousy has quieted, and for the first time in what feels like forever, you can actually hear your own heartbeat again. This is the moment when you realize that obsession didn't forge connection, it fractured it. Healing starts with a single breath of honest self-reflection. You acknowledge the pain you caused and the wounds you carry. Perhaps you journal your darkest thoughts, or you reach out for professional guidance to unravel the tangled threads of fear and insecurity. Each insight, no matter how painful, is a spark lighting the path away from fixation. You begin to redefine love not as a hunger for possession, but as an abundance you cultivate within yourself. Self-compassion becomes your cornerstone. Instead of replaying every mistake, you offer yourself encouragement. I tried my best with what I knew. You replace obsessive rituals, midnight scrolling, guilt-laden calls with nourishing habits, sunrise walks, creative projects, and reconnecting with friends who remind you of your intrinsic worth. As these new patterns solidify, the mirror that once reflected only your longing now shows the outlines of a stronger, more grounded self. This phase isn't about erasing the past. It's about building from it. The embers of obsession cool into fertile soil where trust in yourself can grow. You learn that boundaries aren't barriers but protective walls that honor both your needs and those of others. With each act of self-respect, saying no when you need rest, prioritizing your goals, or choosing calm over confrontation, you reclaim the autonomy obsession stole from you. Having traversed the extremes of fixation and the hard work of recovery, you arrive at a new frontier. Love defined by freedom, balance, and mutual respect. Here, relationships aren't battlegrounds nor rescue missions. They're partnerships between two whole individuals who choose one another without fear of loss or domination. In this empowered state, communication transforms from accusation to curiosity. Instead of demanding explanations for every pause, you ask open questions. How are you feeling? And truly listen. Instead of measuring affection by frequency of messages, you appreciate quality, a thoughtful gesture, genuine eye contact, or shared laughter. Empathy replaces entitlement, and you discover that giving space can actually deepen connection. You also carry these lessons forward into every aspect of your life. Your passions flourish again. Maybe you pick up that guitar, return to painting, or finally enroll in that coding course you once shelved. Friendships renew as you show up fully present, not as someone seeking validation, but as someone eager to share joy. And when new relationships bloom, you spot the early signs of imbalance, the quickening of your chest, the tug of anxiety, and you course correct before roots of obsession take hold. Ultimately, genius lies not in flawless romance, but in the courage to love yourself fiercely and others with an open heart. You've learned that true connection grows in soil enriched by self-awareness, respect, and freedom. As you step forward, armed with these insights, you're ready to craft a love story that uplifts, endures, and inspires, not because it consumes you, but because it completes you. Your turn. What strategies have helped you move from unhealthy attachment to empowered love? Share your tips and experiences below. We'd love to learn from your journey. And for more guides on building resilient relationships, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell.